If you had one word to describe that team that made them great, what would it be?
Well, it wouldn't be one word. I think that the difference with Geelong in that era is we used to have like match simulation drills, they used to. So what would be a training session, which was match play, would actually be the same intensity, if not greater, than what an AFL game would be. So if you think of a player like, say, Cameron Mooney, who came from North Melbourne, once a week he would play on Matthew Scarlett, so that, and Matthew Scarlett's probably the greatest fullback in the history of the club, and that's what made Moons so good, was that he had to play on Scarlo, so often in match play. So, and that happened through the midfield too. So you had the midfield of, Joel Corey, Jimmy Bartell, Gary Ablett, Steve Johnson, Paul Chapman, Cameron Ling, like all these players were sort of pitted against each other, which helped them get the best out of each other. They just got better and better because they were so competitive. And when you spoke to someone externally that came to watch training, they would say their first response would be, these guys train harder than most clubs actually play on game day. So I think the intensity of training, those guys replicated a game day at training during the week. And they were only short bursts. Like, you couldn't obviously play on Saturday and then do a really hard match intensity session on the Wednesday. But for sort of 20, 30 minutes, those guys would, and they would, I remember there were so many examples of Paul Chapman and Steve Johnson, fighting each other on the training track. And they were on the same team mostly. It wasn't that they were opponents, so mostly on the same team. But because they were so competitive, they hated losing. And I think that's what got the best out of that group, was they just got better and better and better every time they trained. And then when they took on another team, not that it was easier, but they'd already replicated that match intensity during the week. And that's what I think helped them, get to the level that they did.